Greetings. My name is Elena Stakanova, PsyD, Associate Professor, Southern Federal University, Rostov-on-Don, Russian Federation. The theme of my research is online language instruction with meaning-making track. My presentation is comprised of the following items: introduction, online language tuition, meaning-making track, materials and methods, results and discussion, final consideration. I'm about to talk about the background to the study. The aim is to delineate that meaning-making techniques enhance intrinsic motivation of learning of a novel language. A meaning-making track makes it possible to utilize off-the-wall internet technologies to stimulate learner autonomy. The advent of distance education elicits new challenges and issues in teaching English as a foreign language. The nexus of language acquisition with online resources and tools is evident in a fast-paced and technological society. At present, a number of foreign language lecturers at the tertiary level had to switch from in-person setting to remote teaching. As more instructors have become involved in online learning, they have realized that much that has traditionally been done in class can be equally done well or better online. Notwithstanding the mode of teaching, e-learning, face-to-face instruction, or blended learning, a mastery of a teacher plays a crucial role. Since there is no moment of psychological contact between the teacher and the student, the structure of perception and understanding of the material has changed. The means of perception changed dramatically, from the auditory one in face-to-face tuition to visual one in e-learning. As traditional course transforms into an online course, the role of a teacher has changed from the disseminator of knowledge to facilitator. The key language skills incorporate 4 C's: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and cooperation. Meaning-making track is the system of meaningful and engaging technologies with the focus on personal relevance of learning English as a foreign language for individual development, boosting the transferable skills and learning autonomy. In this effect, with meaning-making track, we change the priorities and form sense-making approach, the bedrock goal of which is to place students in stimulating and enlightening setting when one feels the intrinsic necessity to acquire knowledge and follow the educational track. The seminal principle of choosing the activity or track is contingent on the meaning a person infer in the matter. A trainee should be knowledge-conscious and put a sense in the study. Thanks to meaning-making track in learning a foreign language, students acquire transferable skills in the domains where foreign language will be vital. Prioritizing online language instruction, we propose the classification of meaningful techniques in distance education. Number 1. Meaning-making track of support. The goals are to overcome the distortions in mutual perceptions, to use verbal and non-verbal cues to observe the emotional states. Practical use, success stories, metaphor description, information gap activities. Number 2. Meaning-making track of communication. The goals are to break down psychological barriers of speaking English, to understand consistent patterns of communication and get feedback. Presentations, role plays, conferences, gamification might be used. Number 3. MMT of creativity. The goals are to figure out issues under consideration, to draw up diagrams or charts. Practical use, project-based computer-assisted language learning, infographics, meaningful web pages. 4. MMT of problematic character. The goals are to teach patterns and cliché of expressing one's opinion, to analyze and evaluate the facts, to formulate the hypotheses, to identify the lack of information. The tasks are problem-solving, critical thinking, thought-provoking assignments. And finally, number 5, MMT of self-regulation. The goals are to reflect on the educational content, to diagnose difficulties which occur while learning a language, to mark progress. The activities are technology-enhanced flipped classroom, language portfolio, and essays. In the empirical study, a cohort of 60 full-time distance students of Southern Federal University, Russia, took part. The sample was divided into 2 groups. Group A, control group, there are 30 students, studied English under content-based curriculum in distance education. Group B, experimental one, numbering 30 students as well, implemented meaning-making track employing engaging technologies in online instruction. In control group, we leveraged project work, problem-solving, lexical grammar activities, while in experimental group, we used PBCALL, technology-enhanced flipped classroom, and meaningful web pages. The criteria tested were language 2 awareness, intrinsic motivation, and communication motivation. Preliminary results. Comparison of factors of Group A, control group, in the content-centered instruction. The results of the finding in the traditional content-based online instruction showed that language skills L2 awareness are in accordance with students' level A2 B1. However, communication parameter has increased due to a raft of considerations, problem-solving, and other speaking activities. The dynamics of motivation to learning English in the control group A plummeted due to constraints and the paucity of innovative technologies and tasks. We analyzed the dynamics of outcome scores in 2 groups under study before implementation of meaning-making instruction and after the experiment. To support our claims, we have referred to observations and data in the experimental group. All indicators have changed dramatically. The analysis allows to make assertions about the way language works superb in Group B, increased to level B2. Compared to the Group A, control group, intrinsic motivation skyrocketed. As contrasted with Group A, communication dynamic parameter boosted as well. A discussion. In the present research, we conducted multiple studies to identify and examine how language learning in the meaning-making instruction affect motivation. The advantage of engaging activities produces certain outcomes. The study has proved that both groups have increased all their cognitive and linguistic assets and fluency in the meaning-making track. Every participant could choose their own meaningful track by compiling the activities and technologies appropriate for the channel of information perception, individual profit, and learner autonomy. Novel questions have thus emerged from the increased attention to online language instruction, leveraging innovative internet tools. Beyond this, students of distance learning are more independent in their choice and self-regulation. Project-based computer-assisted language learning and creating web pages turned out to be very motivating, since students had personal contribution to it. Be that as it may, students were eager to explore how to use technology more effectively. Conclusion. The death of research in the field of enhancing motivation in online language instruction allowed us to carry out the longitudinal study and make the following conclusions. The current insightful finding introduced the meaning-making track to effective e-learning of EFL. Meaning-making track and cognitive motivation gained a fresh acceptance with the reawakening of distance education. Knowledge management is the most overarching of all the skills. 2. We have come to find the benefits of e-learning are profound and the drawbacks are tenuous. The study released the data of correlational analysis of content-based online instruction and meaning-making track in distance education. We proposed the system of meaning-making technologies and e-learning of the target language. The role of student development in independent study is crucial in the educational process. A trainee is to make important strides towards understanding how to study under the selected individual track, implying personal relevance. Thank you for attention.